Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Moran. I'm the author of the Believers superhero novel, and today we'll be reading Chapter 10. I'll share my screen so you can see what's going on, and I hope you all like it. Here we go. Chapter 10. Hospital visit. You can talk to fish? Vaughn asked questioningly. Yeah, Jerry answered. That makes no sense, Jerry. You're nothing close to a fish. Don't tell me you can become a fish. I don't know. Maybe? I'm still learning about my powers. Vaughn nodded and said, Fair enough. So what else can you do? I can levitate, teleport, heal wounds, and apparently cause explosions. Sorry about your shed and your fence. It's okay. That stuff was getting old anyway. I also tried stabbing you with a knife, so I think we're even, Vaughn said jokingly. By the way, you forgot a few powers. You can fight like a champ and score every shot in beer pong. Jerry started laughing and said, I'm not too proud of that last power, but I'll take it anyway. They were all talking and laughing together on the living room couch. Vaughn was having fun interrogating Jerry about his powers. He did not mind answering questions, he hated keeping secrets. He felt guilty about not telling Vaughn everything before training, especially after what happened in the backyard. Since Vaughn's house was on a farm south of the big city, there were no neighbors nearby to see or hear what happened except Blake. He actually asked important questions and said a few noteworthy things that inspired Jerry. You said earlier that you can pretty much do anything as long as you believe it's true. So, how come you didn't catch 1,000 fish for your dad? Blake asked. Well, I only believed the fish would come up and trust me if I gave them free food and promised not to hurt them. Otherwise, I don't think it would have worked. Blake began thinking about all the wild things he would do if he had Jerry's power of belief. Soon Blake slyly grinned and asked, How come you can't become a god and rain fire down on Earth? Caught by surprise with such a dark question, Jerry looked awkwardly at Blake and replied, First of all, I would never do that. Second of all, I never thought about it. That's your problem, Jerry. You gotta open up your mind a bit and be more creative. Like when I shot you, you could have just made yourself bulletproof or something. I didn't even know you were there, Jerry contested. That doesn't matter. Don't you see? If you believe you're always bulletproof, you'll be protected against bullets, whether you know someone's shooting you or not. Jerry thought about Blake's idea for a moment and replied, Wow, you're right. If I'm going to be a hero, I need to start thinking about everything I can do, develop battle strategies and safety measures in case of danger. Thanks, Blake. No problem, bro. I'm down to help you any way I can. By the way, whenever you're ready to test yourself, I know where you can start busting criminals. Where? Jerry excitedly asked. Dynamite City, a rough place up north, Blake replied. I've got a friend who was attacked there recently. I'd like you to meet her. She's in the hospital. Jeez, I hope she's okay. You want to go to the hospital now? Jerry asked sympathetically. Sure, I'll drive you there. Jerry leaped off the couch, ready to be a hero. Then he had a random thought and said, Wait a second, Blake. I almost forgot something. Jerry walked into the backyard and felt guilty as he looked at the mess. Broken parts of the wooden fence, burnt patches of grass, and shed debris were scattered all around. Jerry took responsibility and said aloud, I'm going to fix this. Vaughn and Blake heard him and walked outside, wondering what he was going to do. Jerry closed his eyes, raised both hands, and began concentrating. He started moving his hands around like an orchestra conductor. Vaughn and Blake thought he was crazy until they saw chunks of wood floating in midair and following the motions of Jerry's hands. It was like watching invisible ghosts reconstructing the backyard, piece by piece. Everything connected like a puzzle. The same thing happened with the shed. Once Jerry rebuilt the backyard, colors began sprouting all over. All the colors of the rainbow spread like wildfire along the fence and shed. When Jerry finished his work on the backyard, everything looked psychedelic, like a tie-dye painting. Vaughn gave Jerry an irritated look and said, "Really?" "Yeah, why not?" Jerry asked. "It looks ridiculous." Jerry smiled and replied, "You said it looked old before. Now it looks brand new, with style." Vaughn shook his head and said, "How am I going to explain this to my dad? I'm going to have to repaint it, aren't I?" "Damn it! Can't you fix it?" Not sure if I can. Plus, I gotta go. Blake and I are heading to the hospital. Catch you later." Jerry and Blake ran out of the house, jumped into Blake's beat up car, and left. "Thanks," Vaughn shouted, and then he started gathering paint materials and grumbling to himself. While driving Jerry to the hospital, Blake began asking questions about his life and family. "Hey, Jerry, what do your parents think about all this? Do they know about your powers?" "Yeah, they know everything so far. They're proud of me, but not too thrilled about me quitting college," Jerry said in a low voice. "Why would you quit college?" Blake asked. "I want to focus on being a hero full time." Blake thought about Jerry's hero idea and liked it, but figured it needed a little tweaking. "Bro, you gotta make a living somehow. If you want to be a hero and make money, why don't you become a cop, like Vaughn's dad? You could be a super cop. Maybe even start your own organization or subdivision for the police in the future. I could be one of your detectives, gathering intel and helping you find the bad guys. It would be great," Blake said excitedly. "I think you're getting ahead of yourself, Blake. Let's take it one step at a time, starting with your friend in the hospital." They soon arrived at the hospital and walked up to the front desk. An overweight woman who looked tired and annoyed with her job took care of him. She gave Blake information about how to find his friend's hospital room and took pictures of Jerry and Blake for their visitor ID stickers. Blake immediately asked Jerry to sign the stickers and let him keep them afterward. Jerry began signing the stickers and asked Blake, "Why am I signing these stickers for you?" "You might be famous one day," Blake exclaimed. "I can see it now. Florida super cop saves the world, all in the name of justice. Your pics will be worth money." "You've got quite the imagination, Blake. You don't believe me? I bet this woman knows you." Blake looked at the front desk clerk and asked, "Excuse me, miss, have you heard of Jerry Miller?" She observed Jerry closely and said, "I don't think so. Hmm, maybe. Oh, yeah, you're that boy from the college shooting. You saved everyone. That was a really nice thing you did." Blake jumped up enthusiastically and said, "See, Jerry, I told you so. Time to make some money." The front desk clerk joined in and said, "Can I get your autograph too? My name is Gladys." Jerry looked at her and said, "Really? You too? Your friend is right. You might become famous one day, and when you do, you know where to find me." She winked at Jerry, and he felt a shivering tingle go up his spine. Then he replied, "We actually gotta go, but I just remembered something. Can you tell me where Kevin Baker is?" "Sure, honey, but you be careful now. That boy was angry when you came into the hospital. He may not want to see you or anybody. I'd stay away from him if I were you." She gave them the information, and they took the elevator. Blake ragged on Jerry about Gladys, the front desk clerk, trying to hit on him. Jerry shivered at the thought and tried forgetting about it. They soon found Blake's friend and entered her hospital room. She was a young woman, about 20 years old, alone, in bad shape, and covered in bruises and bandages. She was lying in bed watching TV and showed a weak smile when they walked in. Blake spoke up first. "Hey, Tanya, how are you holding up?" "I've had better days," she replied. "Sorry to hear that. I brought a friend you may want to talk to." Tanya frowned and said, "It better not be a cop. I've already spoken with two of them, and they probably won't do anything about it." Blake reassured her and said, "I promise, he's not a cop, but he may be able to help. Can you tell us what happened?" "Fine, Blake, but this conversation never happened. You hear me? I'll get in big trouble if anyone finds out." "I gotcha," Blake replied confidently. "Now, tell us what happened." Tanya looked down, took a deep breath, and began sharing her story. "I was in a convenience store, buying a few things. I was about to pay, but I decided to pick up a bottle of soda. Big mistake. A girl behind me said to give her the bottle. I asked her why, and that was it. She stabbed me on the spot. Then she dragged me outside, and two other girls started kicking and beating me up. I didn't stand a chance. That stupid girl screwed up my life, all for a damn soda bottle. There were other bottles too, but she said I took her favorite one." Jerry's blood began to boil. He felt furious and disgusted by the story, clenching his fist while listening to the details. He could not imagine anyone committing such a heinous crime for no good reason. Blake asked another question. "Can you tell us what they looked like?" Tanya gave a full description of each girl, including facial and body details. The most noticeable thing, however, was the color of their jackets. The girl who stabbed Tanya wore a red jacket, and the other two girls who beat her up wore black jackets. Some people have a favorite jacket they like to wear often. The jackets can also represent gang affiliation. Jerry made sure to remember all the details. They thanked Tanya and left her room. Jerry tried visiting Kevin Baker's hospital room, but there was a cop standing guard outside. When Jerry approached the cop, he explained that Kevin did not want any visitors, except police officers, since he was involved in the college shooting. Feeling annoyed and preoccupied with Tanya's situation, Jerry did not argue with the officer. He took the elevator down to the lobby and walked out of the hospital feeling determined. He was going to Dynamite City tonight. And that's it. That's the end of chapter 10. I hope you all liked it. I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you very much. And hopefully the next video will be chapter 11. Have a good night, everyone.